Hey guys, 4-2, I'm Mr. Tanner with Things Not Taught. We are going to cover a very simple but very important thing today, and it is picking your seat in class. Okay, I go in and I get a seat. You know what? It's a lot harder than you think. And part of what you need to understand, it's very important to know if you're kind of that extra or introvert, that extrovert, introvert. You need to know that to find out where you need to be most comfortable. I would say 75% of the classes have a front of the class somewhere. And you need to make sure that you have a good view of what's going on in the front of the class, especially in a math or a science. I think you really need to zero in on what that teacher is instructing you for. So keep that in mind as you walk into the classroom. Even on the first day, I will give you this advice. Where you set the first day, whether it's assigned, if it's assigned, you don't have to make a decision. That's where you're setting. But for like my classroom, where I go in that first day, that's probably where you're going to set the entire year, if not in that desk seat, at least in that area. Okay? But I want you to kind of rewire yourself and say, you know what, if that chair doesn't work for me, if I'm not learning from it, I need to move. Okay? Now, rule number one, all teachers know this. The kids that talk all the time or that want to be on their phone and hide are as far away from the teacher's desk as is possibly capable of, right? It's going to be on the opposite side of the room. Now, I'm up and I'm moving and I shift a lot, so I kind of defeat some of that just because I'm present. Not all teachers are, but I will promise you, if you are as far away from the teacher as you can possibly be, you're not going to learn as much as you would if you were closer to the teacher. And I see this over and over and over again. Now, understanding really where to sit, it's based on the design you see when you go in the room. If you see individual chairs in rows, you're going to want to have a good line of sight to the front of the room. You're going to want to see who's sitting where. And then you want to be aware of where the talkers are. You really want to, unless you're new to the school, you know the people who are really going to command the time and the effort of the teacher. All teachers want to teach kids that want to learn. Unfortunately, we're pulled to the kids that we need to correct and reposition and re-guide and do all this all too often. They're almost time hogs, okay? And these people, it's very unfair to you. You need to define them as quickly as you can where the time hogs are, and you kind of need to shift away from them a bit. Surround yourself with people that you think you can learn with, you can learn from, that kind of have the same demeanor as you. If you're sitting at a table of talkers, guess what? You're probably the talker too, and you are either going to be a talker or an audience for them. One way to stop this from happening, and I'll give you these little hints. If there's a talker around you, first thing you need to know, and they just won't shut up and they just won't get down to business, you need to take the reward system away from them. Right now, every time you laugh, haha, that's their reward system. And if you just stop laughing, I promise you they'll quit talking more, right? If they have no audience, they will quit talking more. And then they'll focus everything at the teacher to try to get their attention, all right? That's that extrovert that wants that and craves that attention and needs that. You have to, though, take a mature stance with that. Number one, don't reward that person. Number two, move. Nothing sends a message that I need to sit over there, and maybe you shift your books when you look. Don't give them that look that says, oh, it's you, I need to move over there. But just slowly, maybe you can put up with it for a day. Maybe in the next day you go and you sit somewhere else. That'll be more productive. Now, you're probably sitting in someone else's seat if there's free seating that was there, and they're going to be like, hey, I was here yesterday. Well, to me, I don't manage that in my classroom anymore. It is where it is, but I also shift my tables around a lot. So walk into the classroom, determine if you're working in small groups, if you're working in large groups. We're lucky enough in our school, we have a collaboration area outside. So literally I come in, the first 15 minutes I'm giving direct guidance on what to do. And then the last hour and 15 minutes, the kids are shifting either around the room or they're stepping out into the collaboration area where they can really concentrate on doing their work together. Understanding that, let's talk about groups at this point. If you are doing group work, you need to understand what group you're going to be in, right? I know a lot of the introverts want to say, I'd like to work on my own. Well, here's the key. No job in this world will require you to work alone. So you might as well learn the skill in high school of working with others, because it's very important that you know how to work with others. When you're working with a group, this is what I hope for as a student. I would be like, please teacher, don't pick our groups. Don't pick our groups. Because when the teacher builds the groups, it's usually randomized and you don't know who you're going to get. You really want to control your groups that you're putting together, and I would get together with productive people. If you don't, that one person in the group, it happens all the time, that one person just doesn't carry their weight, right? And here is my suggestion on that. When that character does not carry their weight and really they get used to other people doing their work, you need to inform the teacher very quietly in an email, right? We talked about, we're going to talk about talking to the teacher, but send an email and just say, hey, this guy hasn't done anything, right? And the teacher will understand that, and they will value that, and they will set their grade accordingly. Everyone in the group doesn't have to get the same grade, because you have no idea what everybody got, right? So it's nothing for a teacher to say, good, you get a 70 and you get a 90, especially if it's corroborated by the others in the group. But understand that when you're working with groups, you need to, there's 4 phases that a group goes through. The first one is forming the group, right? You're just getting together. You're like, oh, I remember you. Yeah, we work together. That's great. Not much is going on. The second becomes a section where you begin to kind of storm, right? Forming, storming. I've got this idea and you've got that idea. When you've worked with a group over and over and over again, you have a very strong group dynamic, and hopefully you can zip right through this phase. But when it's a new group, it takes a little while for us to get in sync. I know you want to be the leader and I want to be the leader, or my idea's good, yours stinks, right? But the storming phase will end, and you need to work through it fairly quickly and get to your objective. Now, at that point, this becomes the norming stage, right? This is where, all right, this is your job, this is your job, this is my job. Forming, storming, norming, right? And once you start to normalize what your job is and to what level you expect of each other, it's okay to tell people that. I expect you to do this level work, man. If you're going to be in my group, we're all going to do this together. And then finally you get to what's called the performing stage. Just like a band on stage, man. We've worked together, we fought through the song, we all had good ideas, and you know what? Let's perform now. This is our moment to shine. This is what we're producing. So it's important where you sit in class, find the place with the biggest benefit, and when you work in groups, it's very important that you get in the right group, okay? You should want to do a lot of group work. It takes a lot of the pressure off of you and gives you a break on homework. But you have to be the teammate you want on your team. You have to be the person that is doing their share of the work. Anyway, I hope that helps, and we will see you at 4.3. I'm going to talk about how to ask for help and when you should ask for help and who you should ask for help. See you at 4.3.